The sun is glistening off of the Golden Dome on a picture-perfect day in South Bend, Indiana. And plenty of the Irish faithful have turned out to take in the annual Blue Gold game at Notre Dame Stadium. Third and short with Price behind Angeli. This is the first drive of what will be 12 drives today. Price, good move up the middle, has room, and he's still on his feet. Look at Jadarian Price to his left on a fresh set of downs. Minchie is going to step up. Here you go. He's going to use his legs and take it across midfield before scampering out of bounds. That is kind of a slight difference maker, Coach. He's certainly the most mobile of the three QBs today.
No doubt. It jumps out at you when you see him on the practice field and in game action. He's trying to get a throw down the field. He climbs up in the pocket and says, hey, I can run it too. And those yards are valuable. We saw that.
He's got a lot of snaps under center in a while. He'll take the snap and play fake. Looking to throw. Gets it out towards the far sideline. It's caught, and once again, it's Burris. Here comes fourth down. Minchie, pressure from behind. He's going to go down. He'll give the sack to Preston Zinter. Someone that's really emerged as one of those linebackers that could break through in a really talented linebacker group. He's going to get the sack, and again,
you've got to get a first down. Defensively, you want to keep them back here, but offensively, you're just trying to change the field position. And, ooh, nice throwing catch.
That's a really nice throwing catch. Let's see what happens here on 2nd and 5. Empty backfield for Carr. He's going to take a shot downfield. Beautiful ball. Beautiful catch. Chad Larson brings it in to make sure he did get guys on the field that might otherwise not have a chance, as Rizak's going to air it out on this second rep. Jump ball, and it's caught. Warren's certainly vying for one of those roles in the cornerback room as Minchie throws on 2nd down. It's complete to Eli Reardon across midfield, makes a couple men miss.
Thanks, Kenny. Appreciate the time.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Tony.
Thanks a lot, Caroline, and thanks to Kenny for the time. Carr on 3rd down connects with Kedron Young down the sideline. Great pitch and catch, and the Irish pick up a first down today, but they're knocking on the door here. Carr will fake the handoff, throw complete to Burris, lunging for the end zone. He's in. Touchdown, blue team. And the offense is in the end zone for the first time today.
How do you handle situational football? A big 3rd down conversion earlier. Now you're down in the low red zone. You go naked. Easy to see what they're talking about with Burris. This guy's got a feel and instinct for play.
All right, and with that, we will get started. This is officially Season 11, Episode 1 of the Dos Leprechauns podcast. We're your hosts, Jason and Nate, and we're joined, as always, by our contributor, good buddy, and member of the Dos Leprechauns media team, Jeff Stribajek. How you doing, Jeff?
Good. How are you guys doing today?
We're good, man. Feeling pretty excited about yesterday's little sneak preview appetizer for the season. We've got a lot to talk about. Well, not a ton to talk about, but just a lot of substance between what we actually have going on. So thanks, everybody, for joining us. As always, if you have comments, you want to talk about what you saw yesterday, let us know. We'll get to as many of these as we can because I think it's going to be a pretty controversial next few months. So with that, Jeff, I know the hot topic is the offense in the quarterback room, but I know you're a defensive-minded guy, defensive-minded specialist. So talk to us and let people know what you thought of the defense, who stuck out to you, and who are some guys that you're like, it was a spring game, so I'm not too concerned.
I was really impressed with how our defensive line and how our secondary looked. The linebackers are something that I kind of overlook because I'm expecting consistent play out of them this year, regardless. The defensive line was going to be my biggest question mark to see how they were playing together throughout the month of the spring ball of what they had in practice. And, I mean, there were 2 or 3 guys that really just showed out, I believe, and made the most of their snaps. And one of them was Cole Mullins. Cole Mullins out of Georgia, I was about 7 to 8 rows off the field. And between Cole Mullins and Armel Mukum, those guys have gotten big.
Yeah.
They've not only gotten big, but they're physical up front. They penetrated the gaps well. And I believe they just are making that jump to find themselves possibly in that rotation next year. And I think Jared Dawson had some moments. I think everything's still kind of limited. As I was talking to some of the players post game on just a limited availability of play calling and getting out of different reads and different calls. It was a very vanilla type game where they were just trying to get everyone their time and see who could make plays, I think, more or less. And then when moving into the secondary, I'll tell you what, I was impressed as hell by Carson Hobbs. Carson Hobbs was playing kind of out of the nickel position, and I believe he was field corner. The kid's got that swag to him. He hits someone, he immediately gets up and he starts celebrating. Ben Minnick, an early in the game, and you see Carson Hobbs doing the sword. It's like I like that. And he gives a good flair. He went to a good school at Cincinnati Moeller, I believe. I think he went. Yeah, he was at Moeller, Archbishop Moeller out in Ohio. I mean, they're a juggernaut, and he's used to winning. So I like seeing that out on the field. And then, I mean, the exclamation point on the defense, I think, was Luke Talich. Luke Talich went into that game and pretty much said, I want this free safety position and I want to take over for X Watts. He was all over the field. He was almost playing like a linebacker. When he was in on that goal line situation, he was absolutely a nuclear weapon coming through. And I think, who did he hit at the line? He hit
Price.
He hit Jadarian Price at the line on that 4th and goal stand, and you're like, he did it back-to-back plays too, and that's what was most impressive. And we already got a little taste of Luke Talich on last season during his redshirt freshman season when he absolutely lit up the punt returner from Penn State, and then he had that unique interception against Florida State. So Luke Talich is a player to watch, and then Bronte Johnson. I think that's going to be one of the heated battles in the summer and fall camp, along with Jalen Stroman. So we're gonna see a lot of interesting names pop out there. I didn't really see much of Kennedy Erlacher. I don't know how much he played, but out of that safeties group, I'm very comfortable with any of those 3 guys playing because I've seen highlights of Jalen Stroman as well, where he knows how to lay the boom as well. So
one of the things I really liked, you were talking about the safety position, and one of the things that I liked right off the bat was Adon Schuler really kind of taking that mantle of leader in the secondary and really amongst the defense as a whole. You saw him before the game getting the guys fired up.
Mm-hmm.
He was kind of the vocal leader. You heard him. I don't know if you could hear it too loud, but it was audibly. He was, getting people fired up, talking about putting guys in the right positions, and we're going to need that losing a guy like Xavier Watts.
Mm-hmm.
And Ryan Clark as well, or Jordan Clark, sorry. So I think you're going to need somebody to step in. I think Adon Schuler, Leonard Moore, Christian Gray, those are the kind of guys that you're going to need to step up. And of course, Drake Bowen at linebacker. I mean, a lot of people were texting me and, where was Drake? Where was Jalen? They played very sparingly, and I think Coach Ash obviously knows what he has out of Drake Bowen, Jalen Sneed, and KVA. So there's really no reason to get them, prime reps in a practice game.
And just to hit small on the linebackers, as I don't want to overshadow the linebacker play. I thought Preston Zinner and KVA too. KVA played really well for the time he was out there. Madden Paramo looked a little bit lost at times, where I'm expecting that, because you see these guys go into this defense and they have to earn their keep, whereas you could have all the athletic ability and whatnot in the world, but the guys who know the defense and the guys who are all about the defense are going to be the ones on the field. And I see Jalen Snead, KVA, Drake, Osbury. Those are going to be kind of the prime rotation of your 4 guys Whereas it's going to be like kind of a flip of the switch with Chris Ash. He's like, well, I already have my 4 linebackers, so it's going to be a tough rotation to break.
Speaking of Chris Ash, did you notice? I noticed definitely that I saw a lot more zone looks than we have in the past with Coach Golden, which,
yes.
I mean, by design, I think Coach Golden is so aggressive. You know, you're playing man just about all the time. Obviously, a lot of controversial, whatever you want to call it, on the man that was played last year against Ohio State and the Natty. But I loved watching the zone. I think that's something that with the amount of athletes that we have this year, I think can be really, really crucial that we can run that zone. But I think man-to-man would be fine, too, with the 2 shutdown corners that we have. And as you mentioned, Carson Hobbs, who seems to just be an absolute athlete. I mean, there's no other way to put it. So, yeah, defensively, I was very excited to see some of the individual performances. Talek, Preston Zinter, I'm glad you mentioned his name because you hear a lot about Talek and Ben Minnick and guys like that, but you didn't hear a lot about Preston Zinter, who I thought had a pretty good game. But some of the guys that didn't get a lot of attention, you mentioned Mukum. I really liked what I saw to Gabe Rubio. Didn't play a whole lot, but he's my guy anyways. But getting into the backfield just about every play, it seems like seems quicker to me. I don't know. Did you notice that?
Yeah,
it
seemed a lot quicker.
I think he's gotten a little bit leaner, and I think that's going to help him out. I know he's an interior guy, and you want him to be thick and all that kind of stuff. I feel like he was getting off the ball quicker. And then obviously, you know, our man crush Bryce Young, just wreaking havoc and just knocking people's heads off. Made a couple mistakes that I'm good with because they're aggressive mistakes. Mm-hmm. But I just defensively, I thought I really liked what I saw from the Chris Ash led defense.
Yeah, those guys that are getting regular snaps. I mean, I kind of overlooked them. I was looking at guys who were filling in the spaces. That was probably my biggest look yesterday, was seeing who is going to take over for what we lost. And nickel, between the nickelback position, the free safety, the field safety position that we're looking for. Another thing that I don't think a lot of people saw a lot of was Notre Dame hasn't implemented the rover position since Chris Ash has gotten here. So that's going to be an interesting play to watch. I believe they threw it in there a couple times yesterday, but that hasn't really kind of come into fruition quite yet. So we'll kind of monitor and see what goes on there and how we're going to portray either having that nickelback or putting that rover position and kind of having that happy medium, especially with zone coverage. The nickel makes the most sense. So,
you know, one name I didn't hear yesterday, and if you did, let me know, but did you hear anything from Devontae Smith?
No, but I believe he was out there, but very limited. He was out there because he is number 0, I believe. And I do remember, I think I saw a number 0 out there. But like I said, you didn't hear Drake Bowen's name, and it was like the Homer Simpson segment where he walks into the bar, he hangs his hat out, and he walks right out, and he's done. Yeah, that's how I felt. That's how I felt about most of the starters that played a significant amount of snaps last year. It was nice to see KVA get an added amount of snaps because I believe that he's just now getting 100%. Where I think they wanted to see him run around the field a little bit more, because he did bang up his knee pretty well. So that was nice to see him out there, and he's slimmed up. And just one more thing, going back to the lean conversation with Rubio, Lauren Landau really, really, really emphasized the conditioning they lost in that period.
Sure.
And a lot of that conditioning that was added on was in sprints. So these guys were doing a lot of quick burst stuff as well as sprints. So Drake, I know for a fact Drake Bowen leaned out. He's still around the same weight, but you could just tell in his body figure that he lost not the bulk. He's still, I mean, a unit, but he has lost some of that thickness to where I think it's that quicker first step speed that Lauren Landau is preaching now.
So putting you on the spot here for a minute, but if you had to say, do you think this year's defense can match or possibly exceed last year's defense? And if so, why either way?
Yes, I believe this year's defense could supersede last year's just on the fact of the amount of speed that this team possesses. This team's going to play fast. They're going to play physical. Losing your 2 interior defensive linemen is huge. But when we have a plug and play of a rotation, it seems like we're forming now. I think that's going to be great. I think Drake Bowen, I know he's going into his 29th game played as a junior. That's fantastic. Jalen Snead's probably around the same, where we're seeing the guys that are growing up before our eyes, they're now in that veteran seat. And I think that's going to help a hell of a lot more than saying, hey, Leonard Moore, you're on the spot. Let's see what you got. And he turns into a freshman All-American.
Right.
Same thing goes with Christian Gray. Like, very limited time his freshman year, really sprouted last year. I think these guys, their confidence is going to go from here to here, and if they haven't already gotten it already.
Yeah, no, strong take. Real quick question from Gary Canaday, the Irish Giant, who was nice enough to do a lot of live for us yesterday, but he asked, were there any injuries reported? I didn't hear of anything major, just some nicks and bruises here and there. But looks like, knock on wood, everybody walked out of that thing healthy, some much needed time off, and then get on the books, get healthy, and get ready for fall camp.
Definitely.
So yesterday was dang near exactly what I wanted to see, with the exception of, and I'll get to that on the offensive side. But anyways, thanks for the recap on defense. Nate, you got anything on defense? What do you think?
Yeah, I was just impressed. Like Jeff said, like the speed, it really doesn't seem like the speed is decreased from what it was last year. I'm not going to lie. That was the thing I was worried about this offseason. And so I think it's a confidence booster for me, at least, just to see that the defense is playing with. They seem faster on the field than last year, in my opinion. So I'm really excited for the season to get rolling on, and it was just fun to see the defense playing around and run around as fast as they could yesterday.
Yeah, no, it's Chris, and I like seeing Chris Ash, kind of some of the nuances that he put in there, some of the things you could tell the differences on in terms of coverage schemes and the blitzes and things like that. Obviously it was very vanilla, but good to see the guys back out there, the gold helmets shining, running around, laying the hat. So good stuff. Switching over to offense, obviously that's the majority of the questions here in the chat right now. But there's so much to talk about, man. And
I wonder what position.
Yeah, left tackle. No.
I wonder what position. That's going to be my biggest question.
Dude, well, first of all, let's talk about some of the unsung heroes. I mean, obviously the elephant in the room is the quarterback battle and that kind of thing, but holy crap, Jadarian Price, man. That dude is a starter on probably 98% of teams in the country, not named Penn State and maybe Ohio State. Well, even maybe Ohio State, but he gets better each year, and it seems like he gets better each game. The way he elevates, the way he can bounce off a tackle and keep going, his quickness, his ability to get vertical and just really hit that home run. I know that there's been a lot from Coach Denbrock saying that Jeremiah Love is going to be catching a lot more passes this year, which we'd love to hear, obviously. Yeah. But, man, get Jadarian Price on a sweep, get him outside, and just let him make something happen. And then not just that, Kedron Young, sorry, I always call him Keldron. Kedron Young looked great. Even Nolan James, the rookie, the freshman.
Nolan James is slippery.
Yeah. I mean, and then Aeneas Williams. I didn't even mention Aeneas Williams. Jabron Payne definitely looks like a step slower than I remember him before he got hurt. I'm really, really interested to see what they're going to do, what he's going to do, or what they're going to do with him. I'd be surprised if either A, he doesn't switch positions, or B, transfers, because man, it is a loaded running back room.
He was proved out to be like the pass catching back of 24
or 23.
Yeah, 23 in 23. So I mean, moving him out, and I mean, I believe Jabron Payne still has a spot on this team. And I mean, yeah, he's not going to take carries from J Love and Jadarian and even Aeneas Williams. But you found out that these running backs can catch the damn football.
Yeah.
I think three or four of them had 20 plus yard receptions. I think three of them. And Keegan Young, I don't know if Aeneas Williams did, but yeah, Keegan Young, Jadarian Price, and I think one more had a long gain off of either a swing pass or a little out where they slipped behind the defense.
Yeah, and I mean, did J Love even get on the field? I don't think he did, huh?
Who's that?
J Love.
Oh no, he wasn't playing. He
was dressed. He was suited up, had his pads on, had his helmet, but I mean, yeah.
I went into that. I went into that saying that he's not going to play.
Yeah, I'm all for him not taking any unnecessary bumps and bruises. Like, just keep that dude, protect him, and put him in a glass house that's protected by the Navy SEALs, because we got to keep him safe.
He's gotten huge, by the way.
He's freaking massive, dude.
Yes,
and that's just in what, January, February, March. At 3.5 months, he's gotten big, and not like it's not like that big. But big.
No, he looks like He looks like, I mean, we talk about, we talk about the Kyron Williams transformation from his sophomore to junior year. Like, I see that magnified by like 10 with what Jeremiah Love looks like right now. Yeah. He is just in he's just in a different element, and I think he wants to be in New York City come Heisman.
Yeah, no, 100%, man, and he's got the ability, that's for sure. If he can stay healthy. And you can say all you want about the running backs, but it's only possible if you have a good O-line. And I think our O-line will be top 3 to 5 in the nation. I mean, good God, Jagasaw is a monster. God dang it, Owen
Strebig.
You know how to say the weird last name, so I figured I'd leave it to you. So
I mean, I have one myself. So
so I mean, I was so impressed with the O-line too. Another guy, sorry, real quick, going back to the D-line, Sean Sevillano, Big Bear. He looked pretty good yesterday too on the interior. Yeah. So, but the O-line yesterday, I felt like it was one of those things where if you noticed a lot of what the O-line was doing yesterday, we have a problem. But I don't think we really did. I mean, it felt like both lines were kind of at a stalemate, which is exactly what you want to see.
Well, outside of the first drive or first whatever, They put out, I believe, this projected starting with the exception of possibly Gerby Lambert as the odd man out. They had, I believe, Anthony Knapp, Jaggy Saw, not Ashton Craig. Sully Absher was playing center. And then the right side was Strouth and Emil Wagner. So that is about as close as it could get with without a healthy Gerby Lambert and a healthy Ashton Craig. So, I mean, we're talking 7 offensive linemen that are in the mix. And by the way, I met Gerby Lambert yesterday, and he is massive. That young man is a unit as a 19-year-old. So excited for his future. Told him to heal up, and he's like, I'll be back soon. And I was like, I sure hope so, because I think we're going to get a lot out of Gerby Lambert.
Yeah, no, Gerby Lambert and Charles Jagasaw have an opportunity to do some great things. Moving on so we talked about the running backs, we talked about the O-line, tight ends. Man, I was impressed with the tight end room. Somebody else said that. Patrick McCormick, Patty said the same thing. Tight end group looked strong, in my opinion. Kevin Bauman on that first catch from CJ Carr. Jack Larson, a nice catch.
Jack Larson had the catch of the day.
All 18 years old of him, by the way.
Yes,
insane.
Yes. Jack Larson made that catch over Adon Schuler.
Yeah.
Not many people get that over Adon Schuler. So it was like one of those, like, Jack Larson. And then he gets up and he does this. I was like, okay. Okay, Jack Larson.
I see you, Jack Larson.
Yeah. Impressive.
You had Bauman, you had Larson, you had Eli Reardon. All looked good. Gosh darn it, there was somebody else that I wanted to mention too. Can't think off the top of my head, but the tight ends in general, tight end it's just going to live on. I think I am really excited to see how the young guys like the Reardons and the Flanagans and the Jack Larsons can complement a guy like Kevin Bauman, who he's going to be a senior, and this is his chance to really separate himself from the Mitch Evans and Michael Mayer, who he kind of got buried behind a little bit with the injuries. Yeah. I am a big fan and rooting hard for Kevin Bauman to do some stuff this year. He's a big guy. In my opinion, he blocks better than some of the young dudes.
He does.
So we'll see how that plays out in terms of the playing time split. But the catch he made just shows that he's got the hands to do the job too.
Sure.
So good stuff.
Definitely. I think you're pretty spot on with Kevin Bauman. I mean, he came back for another year, not to sit the bench. I think he's playing for keeps, and I think right now it's Eli Reardon's. I think it's his train for the taking, where Kevin Bauman, I mean, we're going to play 2 tight end sets, and I think Kevin Bauman could fulfill the job whenever needed.
Yeah, it's an exciting time in the tight end room. Nate, what do you got on tight ends, running backs, O-line? What do you got on that?
Yeah, we were talking about it during the playoffs. Like, Charles Jagasaw needs to be in there. I don't care where he plays. I mean, when he was pulling at guard, it was like poetry. It was just beautiful to see. It was art. I mean, put Jagasaw on the field, he's going to make plays happen. He doesn't even have to have the ball in his hand. He can make these plays that sets up guys like Jay Love to break a 99-yarder, Jadarian Price to have barreling run down Penn State's throat. Just plays like that. And we got, like you guys said, a stacked running back room, stacked tight end room. There's just so much not to love, or so much to love about Notre Dame this year. It's insane.
It was funny. I tweeted earlier that with Jason Garrett, he was going to have a hard time, dogging Notre Dame today because it's both Notre Dame teams. But he was very complimentary, pretty much overall of the entire team and the coaching staff, and he was very high on Chris Ash. So good things happening, man. You almost want to pinch yourself and be like, okay, we made the Natty last year. We're looking really, really strong this year, and we're recruiting like a mofo right now, man. I mean, you pick up the Dunham kid from North Carolina. You pick up Greg Mitchell today. Is that his name, Mitchell?
Gregory Patrick.
Yeah,
Gregory
big old
Patrick
lineman.
and Ebenezer Scrooge.
Ebenezer Scrooge. That's got to be a T-shirt, right? I mean, it's got to be a T-shirt.
Ebenezer Etwade, I think his name is.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, it's one of those awkward names I could probably say if you just give me a little time.
Yep.
And then I saw that. I mean, I know Benny Tank Grimm's a big wide receiver recruiting guy, and I hope he's listening to this, because Notre Dame has wide receivers coming in and out of Notre Dame right now like no one's business, and Mike Brown is working overtime, and I want that to be seen. I want that to be seen because you even saw it reflected out in some of our players yesterday, like Xavier Southall with that nasty catch. Like, Mike Brown is working. And for anyone out there that has doubted Mike Brown because we lost out on 3 recruits last year, they could kind of kick rocks at this point, because I believe I believe the whole coaching staff has it together, and I think we got a good shot. I think I put in our chat today that there's about 4 or 5 guys, I think, in the wide receiver room that we could add next year, depending on how many guys they want to take.
And let's thank you. That's a perfect segue. We had a question here from Teresa Tarondo. She said, how's Cam Williams look? And, Cam Williams didn't have anything flashy yesterday, but dude, he looks like a minimum
catch. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he had a 15-yard catch, but more so for me than that was his route running looked crisp. He didn't look lost, didn't make mistakes, and he's just a big body, fast receiver who have him just run out routes. I don't care. Have him run post routes. Have him run the simplest stuff, but go make a play when you really need it. Cam looked good. You mentioned Southall. Scrap Robinson was really cool. Is it Robinson or Richardson? I'm really struggling today, aren't I?
Yeah, Scrap Richardson. Scrap Richardson. And Elijah Burris. You got Jerome Bettis, JBJ Jr. He even had a couple grabs, I believe.
He did.
It was nice. And then our plethora of running backs kind of led the team in receptions as well.
I think aside from the tight ends, the wide receivers, specifically Elijah Burris, to me, really, really flashed in a lot of different ways. Obviously, they're getting the balls and all that kind of stuff, but just from a running a route, looking good out there, looking like they belong perspective, I thought both him and Cam Williams, to me, really stood out. I didn't see Malachi Fields, so I don't think he played.
He's not on camp. He's
Okay.
technically not on campus yet. He's finishing out his degree. He'll be at fall camp. Will Pauling was out there.
I saw Will
Pauling. Mm-hmm.
Did he catch a touchdown, or I think he had a target?
Yeah, he made a hell of an effort. It was right in front of me. It was a beautiful ball, a beautifully thrown ball. I don't know if it was Kenny, Steve, or CJ. I don't know which one it was, but it was a beautifully thrown ball. And it was just a little bit too far overthrown. And Pauling, I mean, he goes out and gets it. So, and at least he had fingertips on it, you know?
Right. Yeah, it's going to be fun, man. I'm really excited. So, obviously, hey, Adam Dowling in the house. What's up, Adam? Obviously, the big story, the big elephant in the room here is the QB. Who's going to be QB1? What's going to happen in the QB room? I'm just going to give my quick take, which won't be a secret for anybody that's followed us for any length of time, but I think it's time to ride the car, baby. Start the car, ride it, and let's get that thing across the finish line, whatever corny puns you want to come up with. But the dude just looks better than any of the other two. And I mean, don't get me wrong. Kenny Minchie has some definite skills. He's an athlete. Deshaun Kaiser, if you will, maybe a little bit better than that even, but CJ was, every ball he threw looked crisp. It looked good. It was right in the receiver's hands. He did throw a pick, but he had 145 yards, I think it was, 2 touchdowns. One of the things I also liked about CJ's game was there was a couple times where the pocket broke down and he was able to at least escape and keep it at positive yards. Whereas Angeli, there was a couple times, in fact, I think it was the second or third play of the game, he got some pressure, backed up, backpedaled, and then still threw it off his back foot and it was almost picked. Yeah. Can't have that. And Angeli, again, he's come in, he's saved us in the Penn State game, call that what you will. We played against Purdue. He's had some reps here and there, but he just is not the same kind of thrower or a guy that can escape like CJ Carr or, for that matter, Kenny Minchie.
I'm in complete agreement with CJ Carr. I was thoroughly impressed with how incredibly poised he was. And yes, it's a spring game, and there was only about a third of the people that are going to pack into that stadium. Steve Angeli has a special place in my heart, and I'm not going to say he's our starting quarterback, but I will say that Steve Angeli serves as probably the most serviceable backup quarterback in the country that could probably start at 75% to 80% of the schools in the country. And now we're really talking about the type of talent that's coming into Notre Dame. Mm-hmm. And when we're talking about a 3-man quarterback battle, you never hear that anywhere. Right. Where there's 3 guys up for the job, and Kenny Minchie looked strong to start out yesterday. There were some inconsistencies with his passing, but that kid's got wheels. That kid can move. He could make some sharp throws. But overall, CJ, I mean, he was 12 for 16, 12 for 17 for 170 yards and 2 TDs. So he's just an impressive. He's an impressive kid. He walked around like he already owned the offense, and yep. I like to see that in a redshirt freshman, and his pedigree's there. I mean, his pedigree's there where his younger brother just committed to the University of Miami of Ohio. Mm-hmm. So these kids do have that it factor, and there's the questions that are going to go out there. Well, he's playing at Miami. He's starting out at Miami. Who cares? I'm in the who cares. 3/4 of our team last year started at Texas A&M. We walked in there and we got the dub. Like, I don't care about experience. I care about if these guys are dudes or if they're going to take a step back and let someone else take their spot. Because we're getting enough talent at the University of Notre Dame now where it isn't the Brian Kelly regime where, oh, this guy's a senior, this guy started last year. No, we have guys that if you're not up for it, we're going to find someone that's just as good, if not better. He's going to play. That's my take. CJ Carr right now is here. Everyone else is right here. So that's a bit brash, but that's just how I feel. Everyone is on the Angeli, has the experience. Let him start the first game. I do think that we'll see Steve Angeli if he doesn't transfer at some point. Because, like I said, with a redshirt freshman quarterback, there will be times where we could have that Penn State game, or if CJ Carr gets banged up. They're going to need to have one or the other because it's so important that you have a valued backup quarterback that if he's a redshirt freshman or a redshirt junior. So
especially with the schedule this year. I mean, there's not really an easy out anywhere you look. So you're going to need
beat up.
You're going to need 2 to 3 guys ready to go. Nate, Nate has a little bit of a difference of opinion on this, so I'm going to let him get his take in.
Yeah, I will say CJ Carr definitely quieted some of my thoughts on the quarterback battle. I definitely thought Kenny Minchie is my guy. I'm a huge Kenny Minchie mark. He just, in my opinion, he looked very confident when running the ball yesterday. And, that could just be like some PTSD from missing Riley Leonard or something like that. But it just added something that I think the offense, especially this year's offense, can really gravitate towards Kenny Minchie's, his pocket mobility and, him being able to throw on the run. That nice little throw on the run was tremendous, but it's so hard to say Kenny Minchie is going to start against Miami. Just looking at what CJ Carr did yesterday, because it would really be a questionable move. Not even just in the locker room or anything like that amongst the team, just amongst the fan base. Like, why is CJ Carr not starting? Why is Steve Angeli starting? And I'm not saying I agree or disagree. It's just I could see the fan base, up in arms with that.
Well, one of the things that Jeff mentioned, and I've heard a lot of people mention, is, well, Angeli's more experienced, not by a whole lot. The only game he started was against Oregon State in the Sun Bowl 2 years ago, from an Oregon State team that was depleted and down to redshirt freshmen having to play and stuff like that. So
their coach was probably the safety.
Yeah, exactly. Nothing against what he did or what he's done and help us against Penn State and coming in and mop up duty and stuff and doing some good things. But it's just not that experience to me is not equal to what CJ Carr is going to bring from a talent, athlete, gun, arm strength standpoint. So to me, the case is closed. It's CJ Carr's your QB1 going into August 20 whatever against Miami, because Miami's got Carson Beck and everybody's freaking out about how good they'll be, blah, blah, blah. But their defense is not on the level of the devil, man. They're not what you think they would normally be. I think CJ Carr is going to be game for that kind of environment. He's played in big games. In his high school, they played huge games. And like you said, he's got the pedigree. His freaking grandpa's Lloyd freaking Carr, for crying out loud. So he's got what it takes. And I'm really excited. I've been a CJ Carr fan from the get-go. We got to go see him at the Elite 11 camp in SoCal a couple years ago. And you know how you can kind of see sometimes when these high school kids are walking around, they're all tremendous athletes, but CJ was by far the alpha of that group. Not necessarily winning all the competitions, but you could tell guys gravitated towards him. He knew the play calls. The coaches all kind of asked him questions off to the side. And when it came to actually 11 versus 11 drills, he dominated. So I have full faith in Coach CJ Carr and Coach Godelli to mentor him and get him ready to rock and roll. So I'm excited. Let's see here. Somebody asked if we see any night games on the schedule. I think SC for sure will be a night game. I could even see Boise State maybe being a night game.
I could see A&M.
A&M for first game of
week 2. Mm-hmm.
First home game of the season. It's A&M. Ooh, that's gonna feed families. That's gonna be good stuff right there, baby. All right. Well, we've been going on for a while here. Real quick, let me get your take on this too, real quick, Jeff. And off the football field related, but what do you think of the shirt this year?
Love it.
Yeah, me too.
Love it. We went into Hams yesterday after the game, and the lines were atrocious. And my wife, who is, we're fortunate, she works at the university. We walked in there, we picked up the shirts, and unfortunately the youth shirts weren't in until the 20th. But my wife grabbed one for me, her, and my father, and all of a sudden we start walking towards the lines, and everyone's just draped with shirts. Like it's one of the better ones. I like that green color. It reminds me of the Notre Dame Brady Quinn era green.
Yeah. Yep.
And that brings me back to good times, So it's a special shirt, and I like the graphics more. If you get time, this is to the audience. If you get time, go on Instagram and follow this shirt, I believe, and maybe I could find that handle. And they break down the actual script on the back and what it means. And the students, they put a lot of time into that. And that's just an added resource to just give the Notre Dame community more respect because of how we come together as one during these times. And the shirt's just a perfect example.
One of the things I really like about this shirt is on the front. There's a drawing out of the play that Pat Terrell knocked down the 2-point conversion against Miami in '88. So kind of an FU to Miami right off the bat, which I love.
It's always got that symbolism.
Oh yeah, no, and that was just one of the most memorable plays. In fact, I have it. Yep, I have it right here on my wall. Pat Terrell knocking that thing down. So good stuff.
Yeah,
man. Well,
Adam Dowling. I saw your Twitter. I wish the lines were like that when we were there yesterday. You looked like you were in an empty store. Hopefully you didn't jump. Hopefully you didn't jump from that balcony.
That's my recommendation to anybody going out to a Notre Dame home game. If you can stay till Sunday, do it and take a late flight out of Midway or O'Hare or whatever, because if you go to the bookstore on Sunday, it's ghost town, not to mention the whole campus. You can walk around, get all the photos you want, and it's just very a cathartic experience. You go to the grotto, say a prayer, light a candle. It's good stuff. So if you're coming into town for a game, definitely try to stay until Sunday afternoon, because it is remember that last year when we went for Stanford, we got to walk around to like 8 o'clock, and it was just very peaceful and just, best place on earth. So anyway, all right, Jeff, hey, thanks again for always jumping on with us. We love your insight. You got some great knowledge, and you got a really cool last name. And but yeah, obviously we'll stay in touch on our group chat and stay up to date with everything going on and see if there's any. Hopefully there's not too many transfers, but I'm sure a couple guys will transfer out. We'll talk about that. And yeah, we'll catch you soon, bud.
Definitely. Take care, guys.
Your brother. Thanks. All right. That was our buddy, Jess Trebejak, one of the Dos Leprechauns media administrators. Want to give a shout out to our whole team. We got Patty McCormick, Patrick, who's on here as well. He does our halftime recaps for each home game. We have each game. Jason Lynch, not even sure what he does edits and just kind of keeps us all in line. We've got Benny Tank Grimm, who does the countdown, which, by the way, 40 days away from the countdown starting, the OG countdown. I think we do a pretty good job with the history and stuff. So thanks, Benny, for that. And he also does the Tank's Take. So anytime we get a new recruit, Benny Grimm, the Tank, comes out and does a recap and kind of a overview of that recruit, what to look forward to, their strengths, weaknesses, etc. Wayne Smith helping us out on YouTube. Joe, Fighting Irish Faithful, not going to even try to say his last name, with his podcast on Twitter. Check them out. Just added Jen Zuby from Twitter. She's going to be helping out with some of the events we do and public relations. And then, of course, Jake Hagan, who helps out and really is killing it on our Twitter. A lot of the stuff you'll see on Twitter right now is him. Cool things coming up. We're going to try to do we're going to kind of do this as a pilot trial basis. We're going to try to do some live trivia. It seems like trivia has been really popular with the Twitter questions and answering them and things like that. We're going to try to do live Twitter maybe once a week or so, maybe on a Wednesday, kind of tapping with the team about how we want to do that. But we think that would be super fun. Have some prizes for anybody that is there and able to participate and win. And we'll probably do it on this kind of format where we do it live and have it on YouTube and everything. So good things ahead. We're getting ready for a really great season here, season 11 of Dos Leprechauns podcast. This is episode 1. So we always do this with the spring game being the first episode. Again, really liked what we saw from the team yesterday. And I think just this is going to be another magical season. We finally feel a little bit, I guess, rested up from the 2024 season and that run. I mean, just full disclosure from an emotional standpoint, not winning that game was pretty defeating for me. Thought that was finally going to be it, but we'll be back. I'm very confident in that. But the season as a whole, just all the ups and downs and craziness, and it's just been amazing. It was an amazing run for multiple different reasons, but I'm super happy we got to go with it. Also, if you haven't had a chance, we posted about this the other day. Check out Riley Leonard on Coach Gruden, the Gruden quarterback class on YouTube. It's on his Barstool YouTube. Freaking phenomenal series. Basically, he sits down with Coach Gruden, Riley does, and goes through kind of some of the games and how he thinks. They do some quarterback drills together, and it's just a really cool thing. And just once again, the legend of Riley Leonard continues. Just a phenomenal person and really gets it. Just really thankful that he was at Notre Dame for a year. So yeah, check that out if you can. What else, Nate?
I don't know. We're getting semi-close to the start.
140 days until Miami. It's going to be a big one. It's going to be a lot of people saying the Irish are a one-hit wonder and that we don't have a quarterback. And
you know what? I was thinking about that today and yesterday, actually. I think Notre Dame's getting more respect now. I don't think it's the same.
True.
It's cool to hate on Notre Dame, so let's do it.
Yeah,
I think Notre Dame earned a lot of respect last year.
It's a good point, and that's the way you have to do it. Yeah. You got to go out and win a couple games in the playoffs, and we won three. We won 3. Yeah, 3. Georgia, Indiana, and Penn State. So yeah, we are starting to get that respect back, and that's thanks to Coach Freeman and these athletes. And you can see once again that they're super locked in together. They're a family, and you love to see that. Let's see. Patrick says trivia. That's a great idea. Gary Kennedy said, "Hey."
We forgot to mention him for our staff.
Oh, my bad. Sorry. Yeah, Gary Kennedy, Tim Finnegan, also guys that contribute for us at the games. Anytime you're at a game and you see the tallest guy you've ever seen wearing a kilt, that's going to be our guy Gary Kennedy, the Irish Giant. We're gonna make him a T-shirt so you guys know who he is this season. So I think he has season tickets, so you'll see a lot of him. Also want to give a huge shout out to Jason Tylee on Twitter. He's IrishJTL. He's actually going to be running the Dos Leprechauns tailgates this year. He'll be at all the home games. We'll have a tailgate at every home game thanks to Jason and some of his friends and things. We'll be sending him out our canopy that we have with the Dos Leprechauns logo on it so that you know where it's at. But he has a really good spot, good food, good people, good everything. So check that out here as the season gets closer for the information on that. And then, of course, this will be the last year Notre Dame travels to Palo Alto for a very long time, if maybe ever, for the Notre Dame-Stanford game. So we will be there. We'll have a big party, big time, big tailgate, and go whoop some trees, go chop down some trees. So a lot of things going on this year. It's going to be a great year, and excited to be a part of it with all you guys. So thanks for all of your support. And if you're not already, please follow us on YouTube. We really want to grow our YouTube this year.
Subscribe on YouTube. Just type in Dos Leprechauns. Tell all your friends and family and your dogs if they have a Twitter. Some dogs have YouTube, so let's do that. But yeah, check us out on there. That's probably what we'll be doing the trivia probably exclusively on YouTube. So subscribe now so you can get the information on that. Got anything else, Nato? Yeah. Actually, I did want to respond to that comment real fast before you hop off.
This one?
Yeah. So like it says, as you guys can read
Cheryl.
it. Yeah. So if you had told me before last season that we were going to go 14-2, no offense, I would have said you were crazy. I seriously thought last year was a rebuilding year for Notre Dame. And I'm fine admitting that, and I'm fine admitting that I'm wrong. But that's another thing I want to piggyback off of last season.
No, it's fair. I think that there was a lot of question marks. What were you going to get out of Riley Leonard? What was the running game going to look like? O-line, a little bit patchwork, but they figured it out. Starting left tackle for crying out loud. It could have been a lot worse than it was. And to go to the national championship, go on right rumble too. Gary, what do you mean go on right rumble too? Text me and let me know what you're talking about there, because I don't speak Irish Giant.
The streaming site.
Oh, the streaming. Okay, I don't speak Irish Giant, so I'm not sure what that means. But Matthew A. Rose, go Irish. Let's go back just a couple things here real quick. Cheryl Atkins, sure, we got that one. Gary, I've been looking for the attendance numbers since I woke up this morning. I can't find it. So stay tuned for that. We'll try to get some information for you on that one if they release it. I don't know if they will. Looked pretty packed. Not as packed as I've seen it in the past, but it looked pretty packed. Matthew Rose, need to give a huge shout out to Gary Kennedy for all he did yesterday, as in going live. Yeah, no, he was great as always. Gary's like, how do you not go up to Gary and just smile? I mean, the guy's 8 feet tall and wears a kilt, and he's always happy. So we love Gary. So anyways, you guys have a great night. Go Irish. We'll see you guys. Actually, I guess so. We're at April 13th. Next actual podcast probably won't be until early to mid-May, probably right around the time we start the countdown. But look for us on the trivia situation on YouTube. If there's any breaking news related to transfers or additional recruits that are signed, we'll come live with that too. But for now, we'll be signing off for probably about a month, and see you guys on the YouTube channel for our trivia. So go Irish and beat Miami.